Hello, future viewers.
Welcome.
I would like to apologize for my disappearance of about 2 weeks. I ran into computer problems. What kind? Well, it involved a motherboard that was evil and ate a CPU and caused, a certain amount of other issues. I had to take some drastic measures, but I'm okay now. And my computer, my rather different computer now, should work fine. Anyway, back to the game. The game is kind of explaining the basic flow of missions right now. This is going to be, I guess you could call it the first real mission. And yes, they all have that drum roll. That's one of the many things I like about this game.
Good luck and Godspeed, Mr. President.
Well, we picked up a couple of new weapons last mission, and they are going to help a fair bit in the very near future. We don't really need the pistol anymore. Well, we didn't really need it that much even in the very first mission, so we're going to replace that with our new grenade launcher, and we are going to equip our new multi-missile launcher, and that is going to be the most important pickup. If you didn't find that in the White House mission, it's a good idea to go back and get it, because there are certain things that you can only get rid of quickly with that thing. To that end, we're going to help further resolve that weakness in our armament by researching better bazookas. But we don't have quite enough money to get the one that we want yet, so we'll just have to leave that alone for now and get this mission going.
Mr. President, how's the skydiving? Not too bad.
I don't think I've ever heard someone describe skydiving that way. Well, granted, I haven't met too many skydivers personally. So if you've ever met a skydiver in person who describes it as not too bad, please let me know.
That's quite a gentlemanly landing, sir, befitting only of a U.S. president.
The gentleman in me goes off the clock at 5 p.m. And now I'm gonna take America back!
I know for a fact that they made these lines as cringeworthy as possible, but still, even after hearing them more than once in the past, it still has kind of an effect. Anyway, this little area here, it's full of these, well, whatever you call them. They don't drop anything useful when destroyed, but there are some crates that I want to pick up. Heavy and light arms ammo are always good, but what I really want was that offensive augment. That's going to speed a couple of things up a pretty decent amount. Not counting, of course, the transport trucks, which I will never need any weapons to defeat.
Mr. President, POWs are being transported in.
And that is our first non-secret set of POW camps. No, you cannot stomp them and still rescue the people inside. That counts as a heavy arms attack.
They were used to develop new weapons for the military. Way to go, Mr. President. Now the POW can be safely liberated.
It's a good idea to look for crates with that blue star. They usually have energy pods.
The enemy forces have even captured San Francisco's
Like that
cars.
one.
We can't let
Oh,
them
cable
know
cars,
the
huh?
symbol of this great
We
American
could just
nation.
shoot all the soldiers in them and leave the cable car intact, but that takes too long. We had to destroy the cable cars to save them. Well, right now, the enemies that appear are not really a big deal. Especially the respawning ones. We can just jump on them, and even if we left them alone, they wouldn't really hurt us much with the troops that came out. Now, these fortifications will hurt you if you stay still long enough. But if you stay still for a long time in this game, you kind of deserve what you get. Now, the grenade launcher is nice here because it'll pretty quickly kill all of the soldiers manning the fortifications. But the larger guns will not go away. They'll keep shooting you and they will block your missiles, so try to aim around them. This level has tons of ammo if you're willing. Oh yeah. Also, you get you get little taunts if you use the directional pad. Anyway, so many crates and boxes and those easily destroyable concrete bunkers with items that it's pretty much impossible to run out of ammo in this map. Hey.
Be careful.
So, it's a good idea to destroy POW camps from a distance regardless, because you can trigger more enemies by moving forward. But yeah, some of them have alarms that will ring for a short amount of time and then destroy the camp with the POWs in it if you get too close. So when in doubt, if you see one, just shoot it from a distance. As far as I'm concerned, that's the main use of a sniper rifle. We got a new machine gun as well. This one has an unusually wide targeting field, which is why it's termed an interceptor weapon. Good at intercepting missiles. Its attack power is not great, though. The grenade launcher's area of effect has a pretty nice vertical element to it, and it will set soldiers and other targets on fire as well. So even though its base damage is not that high, it can still take care of a lot of smaller things. I'm pretty sure I've already used most of them. We haven't used the multi-missile launcher yet, but don't worry, we'll get there. Probably should have used it on this thing, actually. It doesn't fire back too much, but it is a little bit of a pain. It's kind of durable, and if you don't aim at quite the right place, your missiles will go right through it. So, multi-missile launcher. I jumped the gun a little bit there. You have to wait for a lock-on, and then there you go. It'll destroy most things on this level in one volley. The only problem is it doesn't have an amazing amount of ammo with it. It's like the one thing I could run out of if I used it way too much. That being said, I could probably afford to use it at least a little more. I'm getting heavy ammo pickups all over the place. I'm not going to use the M4A1 for much other than this, which is actually a bit of a problem. Well, that issue is not going to come up until towards the end of the level. The full map is good about showing you the things that are required to finish the level. It's not as good about anything else, such as prisoner camps or any kind of important pickups. You gotta look for those on your own.
Well, if it isn't the pride of the United States military. M1 Abrams tanks.
Your starting gear is not very good for dealing with this. Like, your starting bazooka takes several hits and a pretty long time to deal with one of those tanks. The multi-missile launcher is another matter, though. It is pretty thoroughly overpowered for this mission. So you've seen most of what this mission has to offer. It's kind of getting used to the controls, running around, smashing a lot of boxes and other containers. Oh yeah, and shooting out fire escapes, I guess. That is lovely collateral damage. Don't worry, the president will save the city. This is another place where the grenade launcher is very helpful. Now, I learned the hard way that it's best to not conserve ammo here and just use the multi-missile launcher on everything. And that's because if you use anything that requires you to get closer, there's 2 prisoner camps nearby that both have alarms on them. And it's very easy to get too close to them when there's still enemies shooting at you, and you can't really easily get shots in on the camps to liberate them. That is a bit of a problem. But no need to worry about that anymore. So, there's not too much else to say about this part of the level. It divides into 3 sections, but none of them has anything really unusual about them. Those fortifications are going to show up a pretty decent number of times throughout the game. We're going to see plenty of them in the next level as well. Although, we'll be able to get rid of them a little bit faster as we get new gear. Well, I haven't really talked about the resources outside of the game. Money is used for everything important, in particular for developing new kinds of weapons. Both money and rare metals are required to actually make the new weapons that you research. I don't bother with the stuff that you unlock after the first 1 or 2 levels of research, and I try to skip as many pieces of equipment as possible. But don't worry, I'm going to take the time to show off all different kinds of weaponry, whether they're optimal or not. There are plenty of non-optimal ones that are nonetheless fun to watch. And here's the second weapon pickup. It is a flamethrower. Don't worry, I'm going to make use of both of those weapon pickups in the next level. After all, as I mentioned before, I'm going to avoid manually creating weapons as much as I can, so freebies always appreciated. Well, that's just a couple more target areas left to go. And I should probably mention that we're being very casual about demolishing the military that we are technically the president of. So that one thing that I kind of don't like about some of the levels is that they get a little bit repetitive. Like, this is almost a tutorial level. It could probably have been a little bit shorter. I don't mind it that much. It didn't really feel that boring to play. That being said, if I had already finished this game and was starting over from scratch, I'd probably think that it was a little tedious.
The building was opened 2 years ago on April 25th. It's named the Halcon Denkai China Building. Each season it's decorated with gorgeous lights. Their Christmas tree tops them all. Over 800,000 people came to see it last December. For such a long time, I've been wondering how lovely that gorgeous building would look if it were destroyed. I feel
Okay, that part was not boring. Some of the lines that your secretary gives you are great. So I should probably take the time to shoot down those missiles since I have my assault rifle out while shooting at those gun emplacements. But I don't know. Just walking seems to also do fine. So, destroying this with the early weapons is also a little bit slow going. It's easy enough to get rid of the guns, and after that it's just destroying 1 or 2 pieces at a time. This game doesn't really get rolling until you research a couple of the bigger weapons. So I'm not entirely sure why we have to destroy so much of this building after all of the guns are removed, but whatever. I'll do it. I guess. Well, we've got our first boss. So this boss has 2 attacks. One is a volley of missiles, and another is a charge-up laser cannon. Of the 2, the missiles are much more damaging. Well, that was our burst attack. The correct way to deal with this boss is to shoot down the volleys of missiles while firing our bazooka at it a little bit. But I didn't do that. I took the missiles way too lightly, and thus I took a whole bunch of damage just like that. I mean, granted, the boss is also made of paper if you use the multi-missile launcher on it, but I could have done a lot better. I could have been a lot smarter about fighting that boss, to the point where I probably would do this level over again, except that the game autosaves when you complete a level, so this is what we got.
We've only just begun. The fight will continue. As long as the America inside my heart is still alive.
I couldn't bring myself to talk over that part. I'll show off a better boss fight as well as the one POW camp I missed as a prelude to the next video. Aside from that, we covered pretty much everything. The POW camp was kind of behind you as you walked towards the big building that looks so beautiful when it's destroyed. Alabaster souls. That's beautiful. So this was kind of a collaborative work between Microsoft and FromSoft, which means that the scriptwriters had plenty of
An email?
help from U.S. citizens to make the satire land just right.
Yes, boss.
Are seeking volunteers to oppose the coup d'etat forces. Awaiting response from fellow sympathizers.
The sound quality is terrible.
That was my first impression, too.
The person who sent the email?
Sure, of course, boss.
Maybe America's faith in freedom hasn't faded just yet. And Jody, I'm taking back our country, going from west to east.
Go west. I mean, east, young man.
That was on purpose.
Huh? Mr. President, we got a message from the Information Management Department. The coup d'etat forces...
Oh, this is gonna be
announcement
fun.
on national television.
Connect me.
We're gonna get...
Dear fellow Americans, good evening. This is an announcement.
We're
from
gonna
the
get
Government
the
Policy
news
Promotion Department, where the password is
straight from the government.
love and daily benevolence. Today, we bring you a most unfortunate bulletin. Last evening, the city of San Francisco suffered extensive damage
True.
at the hand of Metal Wolf, who suddenly appeared.
Also
In
true.
addition to slaughtering unresisting citizens, this heinous terrorist took citizens hostage.
I love how they use
Unjust
the
demand for
way
release
the...
of
Oh,
violent criminals and the sum of $500 million.
wow, I didn't know I did that.
This
That-
vicious
that's-
act could easily
pretty
be
cool.
the worst in U.S. history.
Oh no, he's crying. Oh no.
Metal Wolf's pilot is meaner than Satan himself,
I
and we will not permit.
I
him
think
to
he's
get
making
away
us
with
sound
acts
cooler than
like
we
this.
really are.
We Americans will never yield to such evil. We Americans will obtain our own justice. Although martial law
Excuse me. So I love how the way the game forces you to open prisoner of war camps leads to footage like that. It's beautiful.
Fight together. This has been an announcement from the Government Policy Promotion Department, where our motto, justice over theory, is your motto.
Beautiful.
We've been made public enemy number one. How about seeking exile or asking for help from other nations?
No, I'm the president. I can't be the one to start a war in this country. I'll be the one to wage the war.
I'm sure that there's some sort of interpretation where that makes
Update me on the
sense.
situation in the West.
For example, if he said, I can't be the one to start a foreign war in this country, that would be a fair bit better. But you know what? This does have its own charm to it. So I guess that is that. We will see you for the next mission next time. See you then.
Welcome